Hey everybody, it's Terry and Tim here from Money Matters for Everybody.
Hello.
So we're back and we wanted to kind of come to you and talk about vacation.
Yeah, how to plan for it, how to figure out your budget, and how to still have fun while sticking to a budget.
Just talking about on vacation this time around, because we spent a little bit more money than we had historically, and we're talking about how hard that is after spending years getting out of debt, building up an emergency fund, how hard it can feel to give yourself permission to spend. For us personally, because we're out of debt, we can typically save for vacation. We spread this vacation over the months of June and July. It's important to think about what is an acceptable vacation budget. If you're out of debt and you're in the wealth building phase of your stage of your life, like what do you think is an acceptable vacation budget? And no worries, like I feel like this has been hard for us too, right? How much is an acceptable? Is it really like whatever we want? Whatever we want? Is there a particular number that we should come in on under? And I think we've landed on about 10%.
Yeah, that seems to be our sweet spot based on the vacations we've typically planned and that we stick to pretty much each year. Comes in right around 10%.
And that includes like vacation, going away, includes going to concerts. If there's a band that comes in town, I recently talked about how last year Imagine Dragons actually came to town 3 times. The first time was in February, and I think you basically had 1 or 2 week notice.
It was added because of there were still some COVID restrictions, and I think shows in Pittsburgh got canceled, and then they added Allentown.
Pittsburgh's loss was Allentown's gain. And then they came to town in July, August
in Hershey.
Out in Hershey, and we were able to. I'm always up for an outdoor concert. I'll be honest with you, like that's my preferred venue is an outdoor concert. And
that was a weekend of concerts. We saw Imagine Dragons on Friday night and Zach Brown on Sunday night, both at the same stadium, which was a great weekend.
What did we say? It was a coasters and concerts weekend.
And camping. It was the Triple C.
Concerts and camping. And then when we were at the concert in Hershey, Ryan was having such a blast that Tim actually looked to see if there were tickets available at Camden that week. And there actually happened to be pit tickets available. So Tim and Ryan ventured over to Camden to see the Imagine Dragons, although I'm starting to think that maybe Ryan was there 50-50 to see Macklemore.
He had just as much fun seeing Macklemore.
Yeah, when we were in Hershey, Ryan had not heard of Macklemore, and when Macklemore came out to open, Ryan's like, "Who is this?" And then by the end of the concert, he was jamming with Macklemore. So, anyhow, so that's the whole vacation budget. Vacation is pretty much everything and anything that is entertainment as well.
Yeah, vacation, fun. Activities.
Exactly. So we're simply going to set that 10% aside in a high yield savings. And once we're ready to go on vacation, we'll go ahead and withdraw that money, and it will have been working for us just a little bit in the meantime. And then the other thing that happened while we were on vacation is the Supreme Court ruled that Biden's student loan forgiveness was unconstitutional. We all knew that. Like I posted a video on vacation because I felt like it was important. Otherwise, I wouldn't post on vacation. But we all know that the executive branch doesn't. You should know. If you don't know, you should know. Doesn't have the authority to write laws. I think the important message for Money Matters for Everybody, though, is that if you are in student loan debt and you were hanging your hopes on the government, like, I'm sorry, that's not a good strategy. The government just can't get itself together, right? The government looks at you and I, and they see taxpayer and they see revenue. How this works in corporate America, the government as well. You have a set bucket of money, and if you don't spend it next year, you're going to get less money. So that's not how you work, and I work, and we work when it comes to our own personal budgets. We try to find ways to live on less than we make at every single avenue. Does that mean that we're cheap? No. I spent $32 on this candle this week in a wand store because I was so enthralled.
She handed it to me to go check out, and I looked at it and I said,
he handed it back
"Are
to
you
me with
sure?
Like, do you see this? 33. This is not like you." But I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like the experience in that store, I felt like I'd stepped into the wand store in Harry Potter. It's up in Salem, and I'll probably write about that and post a picture. What it was called?
Why not?
Why not? And the lady behind the counter, oh my goodness, she's such a theatric, and her story changed like multiple times while we were in the store. But I wasn't apparently listening. This one picked it up. This candle, though, I was like, I have to buy something because I want this store to stay open. This is probably my most foolish spend. This is a Mythology Secret Garden candle. It smells amazing, and it was $33. So probably worth, what, $12.99? Anyhow. But at that moment in time, it was worth $33. And I just loved how Tim's like, "Are you sure that you saw the price on this? Because this is very uncharacteristic." Went over to Newburyport the one day, and we stopped into an artist store, and we made some purchases for the household Christmas. Each year we set aside a small amount of our Christmas budget on household items. So we did indulge in spending some money on artists. Local artists created, one was like an ice cream scooper because everybody needs one of those. One was a handheld grater. And the other was a display board, and they were beautiful, and they were not something I would typically spend as much money as I did on. But I was on vacation, and I was more relaxed, and I saw a use for it, I should say.
Yeah.
Recognize that you're supporting a local artist, so we went for it. We both agreed, and if Tim said no way, I'm not spending that money, then there would have been no, like we would have walked out of the shop.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool purchase. So.
It really was. So.
But on the other hand, like, you know, we were a few shops down in a clothing store, and yeah, I saw, you know, a pair of shorts and a shirt that I really liked, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend what they were charging for.
It's down to the eye of the beholder, because I bought this dress while I was on vacation, because there's these little like villages, you know, little stores, boutique type stores. I bought the dress I'm wearing, and maybe I'll get a picture. And it's actually made in the U.S. So it was because it was made in the U.S. and again because I was on vacation and because I have a personal budget that I can pull from each month, I put it into my July budget and walked away. We drive wherever possible for vacation. Airlines are expensive, right?
Yeah.
And if your trip is less than 8 hours, then flying is not worth it, because you drive to the airport, wait in security, wait for your plane, hop your plane, get off your plane, get your bags if you have bags, you might not, get your car, rental car, get your ride to your next destination, and it can take a significant amount of time. So if it's a trip less than 8 hours, we're most certainly driving.
Especially if it's a trip where you're going to be doing some moving around. If you're going to a resort and you're going to be on that resort, or like an all-inclusive or a cruise sometimes.
You can't drive your car on the ocean.
Right. but if you're going to be somewhere and you're going to be doing some sightseeing or whatnot, and you're going to have to rent a car once you get there anyway, it even makes it even more worth it just to have your car. Definitely. That way you're comfortable with it, you're familiar with how it operates and everything. But.
Definitely. He made us leave at like 5 in the morning. We had a really good time. We did go up to Salem the day after we got there. That was typically we'll do something where we kind of explore. Last year we went on a deep sea fishing charter. The boys had so much fun on that. I was okay, but it wouldn't be something I would want to do every year. So we visited Salem. We hadn't been there, and it's about 40 minutes away, 40-minute drive. We bought some books. So I bought The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Not a super easy read, so that's something I'm working on. And then the boys, I bought them this one. This is probably like a kindergarten level, right? Do you know to say it on here?
It doesn't say.
But listen, I want them to read, and there's pictures in this one. It's a good book. The stories were all pretty much the same. As we were walking through Salem, I thought, wow, COVID sure sounds really similar to the witch trials.
Yes, I mean, I really enjoyed Salem because I like history. So like when we've gone to Colonial Williamsburg in the past, I get drawn into some of the stories and the historical facts part of it. So
more so than I do, I'm sure.
So Salem was really cool.
And there is a lot of, honestly, the older I get, the more I appreciate history, because I feel like people that fail to understand history are doomed to repeat it. And so this witch trials, I was like, wow, this is kind of really similar to what's going on right now. If you pay attention to what's happening in the world. Just mass hysteria. So some things during Salem, and again, I'll write up a summary of our journey over on the Substack in more detail, and pictures to kind of share. But one of the things with the witch trials in Salem was they had food shortages.
They had just gotten through
a pandemic or
epidemic
an
at least.
Epidemic. I think it might have been smallpox. And the government could take your land. So if you were a witch, if you were accused of being a witch, the government could take your land, and they did. And you didn't need firm evidence to prove somebody was a witch. You didn't need solid evidence.
Well, and they also made up the rules as you went. They made it, you had your proof that you either were or weren't a witch was stuff that most humans couldn't do in the first place.
They just tripped you up, if you were trying to say the Our Father. And it was kind of a reminder as well. I didn't realize beforehand that it was when the Puritans came here from England, right? They came for religious freedom, but they got stuck up in rules and religious rules. It was really kind of just wow, we should be careful, right?
Yeah, it was kind of ironic. I think we had learned how they came here for religious freedom, but then anything but their religious beliefs was wrong.
Right. And then the other thing that we do, we're in Rockport, which is my kids don't care if it's raining. My youngest especially does not care if it's raining.
They were on the beach in the rain the one day for hours. So
was this all stuff that you caught from this sea glass from this trip or no? Okay. So TJ came home and my mom wanted a sea glass seahorse. So TJ created this just yesterday, and it is absolutely, to me, it's stunning.
It's beautiful.
And then we had also recently replaced, in our hallway, we had a little candle display as you came up the hall. I'll share a picture of that. It was probably $20, $30 from Bed Bath & Beyond back in the day. But we don't burn candles anymore because obviously I have
Except for this one.
Except for this one. It was like coconut. We tend not to burn candles anymore. And this one, I don't even know if I'll burn. It just smells so pretty. So
at least don't burn candles that are 2 inches from the wall.
This is true. And so we replaced it with a pretty nautical sailboat seen. I confuse people on Instagram. Obviously, people on Instagram don't know how to read, so reading comprehension is low. So Facebook, Instagram might not be my channel. My people are not on Instagram. My people are probably on YouTube. So anything else?
No.
So now that we're back from vacation, we're moving forward with our next steps. We have another vacation plan later this year. It's a cruise vacation, and we are saving for that each month. We're just dropping money aside. And I wanted to kind of just remind you that when you're out of debt, I can't explain to you how freeing it is. I can't. But I can tell you, and it's hard. Like, it's not simple when you're trying to get out of debt and you're working multiple jobs and you're working the budget and you're saying no and you just feel like you're a no meter. No, 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 I'm not going to do that. No, I can't do this. And people in your friends and your family circle who want you to do things and they start like attacking you or making fun of you, or I don't feel like we had that too much, or we just had a lot of, well, YOLO, like you only live once. And we were like, yeah, that's not how we work. So that you get on a budget, you get out of debt, and then all of a sudden your money is your money and you can do what you want with it. So you can go on vacation when you want, you can do fun things, you can save for, if you want to save for a vacation house or a car, you can. And now with high yield savings accounts, which are great, I hope they stick around. I really do. And it's a temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement. I remember that from my Penn State days.
Yeah, when they were renovating.
There was a sign, a temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement. Would you trade that? Would you trade a temporary inconvenience of having to stick to a budget, say no to a lot of things, work 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs, maybe 4 jobs, like work around the clock? I've also had people say, well, I have children now, and I get it. Like, your children are only young for a very small period of time. I worked multiple jobs when my kids were young. When I was at work, I was at work. When I was at home, I was at home. And that's how I kind of wasn't on social media. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I was home. So I don't buy that rhetoric that like, I want to be with my kids. Like, your kids deserve to live in a family that isn't anxious about money. Your kids deserve to have a parent who's not sidetracked with how I'm going to pay the next bill or deal with the next emergency. So I want to encourage you that just, to me, I see that. And I don't even feel like I can respond sometimes. To posted some comment, this reel on Instagram, and people came at me. It got a lot of views, I think, because I had attached a God Bless America song by Danny Goki, and because I missed 4th of July. Like, I missed saying, because we were on vacation and I wasn't on social media. And for some reason, it got like, people like just went off left and right. I had one that had the victim mentality. I'm a victim. I can't work. Everybody can work. In today's day and age, everybody can work. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second.
Right.
Oh, you're privileged. Must be nice to be privileged. I'm the youngest of 7. I grew up poor. Nice try. So, but if you're going to have a victim mentality, a woe is me attitude, then yeah, you're not going to get anywhere. But I feel sad for you because you're not going to experience the freedom and the joy that comes from being out of debt. Better marriage, better relationships, better family dynamics. I don't know if it's necessarily related to getting out of debt, but I don't deal with drama at all. I just don't. I don't deal with drama. I don't get drama, gossip, none of it. I know the Bible tells me I shouldn't engage in those things either. So maybe that's more where that comes from. But I wish there was a way that I could relay to you or make you feel just for a couple seconds what the freedom feels like when you don't have debt. And that being said, Tim and I don't make oodles of money. Like, we're not making, there's people out there on Instagram in these reels that like these social media influencers, and they claim to be making $100,000 a month. And I look at that and I go, wow, that's really cool. But I don't believe it.
Right.
And I don't need to believe it. Like, again, remove yourself from drama and gossip. I have a hard time believing it because I know we work 40 hours a week and we don't make that much money. So a social media influencer, I guess, maybe, I don't know, but making more than $1 million a year. When I look at that, I just think, well, if everybody's doing that, then the price of milk is going to go up from, your milk will go from 7 to 700. Like, that's just how that'll, it'll work itself out. You have to decide for you. And we live in a world where you're basically told what you need to do, right? Like, so you go to school and school tells you what you need to do. And we learned this from TJ in school last year, where he was basically told, like, if you don't have money for college, your next best alternative is to take out student loans. And it was a test question, and he answered it. I don't know how he answered it, but he basically
answered it with something like the kid should get a job in a related field while he can save the money for college.
Was that an option?
Yeah.
It was an option, which is the correct answer, because if you're using financial principles, wise money principles, you should get a job, save for it, and go to college. But the public schools are indoctrinating our children into debt is normal. And to think that they're shackling them with hundreds, if almost hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Our local colleges, our state schools cost still about $7-8 a year. So you could go to not Penn State, but you could go to a state school in Pennsylvania for about $32,000 if you took out loans. But then they'll also give you money for living expenses. I don't even know the amount they would do. And some of them are charging interest from day one. So like, it's just not wise. And I feel like my heart breaks for the people that are in the student loan crisis right now, relying on the government to come fix them or save them. Because first off, it's only $10,000 to $20,000, and you can make $10,000 to $20,000 pretty quickly if you hustle.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, right, TJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about TJ's lawn care shortly here. So that's that. Anything else?
None.
So don't rely on the government. Get on a budget, get out of debt, build wealth, and step into your next phase of joy.
Yeah.
Joy. You can go on vacation when you want. You can save for a car. You can save for a house. You can give. Have you ever been in a situation where there's a need and your heart breaks, or you feel a nudge from God that you should be giving to this cause? You could probably give, like if you're in debt, you could probably give $25, $50, $75, $100. But what if you could stand up and give $1,000 because you're not in debt? Would that be life-changing? I hope you found this helpful. We hope that you have a vacation planned for this year. We hope you have a plan and a purpose, and that you're going to get out of debt and start living your life. All right, guys, get to work.
Have fun, everyone.
Bye.